Obviously, you're not a golfer.
You want a toe? I can get you a toe. Believe me. There are ways, dude. You don't want to know about it. Believe me.
Yeah, but Walter.
Hell, I can get you a toe by 3 o'clock this afternoon with the Apollo.
Really tied the rope.
Welcome. I feel like the kid in the end of this movie. Don't reach down my throat.
Yeah, we got to be quiet during the intro, he says.
Oh,
and then,
God. The intro was so freaking loud in my ears.
yeah, it was pretty hot. It was loud.
Caused me to cough. Hello and welcome to 2021. This podcast really ties the room together. My name is Joseph Eastwood Frisch. I am America's foremost cowboy.
Yep.
I don't wear the hat when we do the show because the phones mess it up.
Right.
And you know what? A real cowboy doesn't have to wear his hat all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Does that make me America's foremost Tonto?
You guys start grunting more. Do you ever hear the original Lone Ranger Tonto like radio tapes?
No, I don't think so. I just saw the black and white TV show for
I love the black and white TV show. This is James Koppel.
America's foremost Tonto.
America's foremost Tonto. He just grunted. He was like a primate, basically.
Does Tonto mean sidekick in Native American?
It's apparently meant friend, but you know,
wow.
say Native Americans like saying, there's a. Well, never mind. I'm not going to say that analogy because that might get me in trouble. But there's hundreds, if not 1,000, different dialects of Native American language. But in his, he was a friend, I believe. Tonto meant. I'm sure it did not. They're probably he's from Toronto. Toronto. That works, right? Hey, welcome WDBX 91.1 downtown. Beautiful Carbondale in the midnight hour. If you want lulled to sleep, hey, that's some nice ASMR you got over there with the beer.
Yeah, you like that?
It's pretty good. If you like being lulled to sleep.
It's really sweet when you're trying to sleep, too, and it's on your pillow.
I used to have a gigantic beard. And the worst part of it was really there's a couple bad parts, but one of them was when you would wake up and I'm on my one side sleeper, so my beard would just be like,
yeah,
moved over, gotta comb it out. This is our last Halloween movie, and we tried to escalate the scares from movie to movie.
Did we though?
Okay, we didn't really try to. We started like at the lamest of Teen Witch, and I was like, by the end, we need to do a real movie, and we did a real freaking movie this time. We did When Evil Lurks.
There's a plot and everything.
There's a plot. There's good acting. The directing's fantastic. The special effects are
outstanding.
Out of this world. Good. Yeah. I watched a lot of stuff. Like I've watched the Necromaniac series, for God's sake. And this movie grosses me out in a couple spots. Makes me look away, for sure.
Look away, baby, look away.
So yeah, we're doing Evil Lurks today as America's foremost cowboy. Let's get to it. It is a IFC film, which is something. Let's see here. When Evil Lurks, the first roll, dude. Something I thought of. We should do the first roll, dude.
There you go.
The first thing you see. What's the first frame of the movie? And this one is I expected it to be some grand shot. It's just an old dirty window, and you hear some gunshots outside the window, and it's very familiar. Who hasn't heard something out the window?
I've got wild opening scene. Oh, I'm watching the wrong movie. Okay, I found the correct movie.
So there's another Evil Lurks.
Yeah. So it starts out and it's like this. They're just flashing different. There's a girl sitting in a chair and everything's backlit, kind of like this. Mm-hmm. Everything's backlit red, and there's just like flash scenes of like evil things behind her and whispering in her ear, and she's all in this chair the whole time. And I'm like, this is a wild opening scene. I mean, there's just like metal music playing. And I was like, this is not what I was expecting,
From what I told you I thought the best horror movie.
Right, yeah. And then all of a sudden it cut, because I remember you saying, you're going to have to read, dude. Like, it's not in English. And I was like, cool. And then it comes in all in English. I'm like, pretty sure I'm watching the wrong movie here. That's whenever I text you, I was like, well, would you watch that on?
Yes, I watched it on the Shudder. I watched the... Dude, it always gets cold when we start filming. Look at this.
Ghost, man.
Holy crap, man. It's the
spirits.
It's the evil. Uh-oh. I'm rotten. The rotten's got me.
Yep.
Interesting thing about this movie, written during pandemic, and you can totally tell written during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It is all. It is a possession movie. The thing I like about it is we've all seen 100 possession movies. Well, I have.
I've seen about 5.
And you know what to expect in a possession movie. They're pretty run of the mill at this point, and they're all one of the genres of horror is Catholic horror, and that's what possession is. It's always been Catholic horror. They've never seemed to break out of that until this movie. This movie was like, let's just make possession our own. I guess Evil Dead is a possession movie that doesn't fall into that trap. But anyway, they were like, this is just demon possession, and it's gonna be real grody, and it's gonna be real looking, and it has its own rules. But it's 100% like pandemic. Like you could catch this, like they're burning their clothes.
Right, yeah.
Like everybody's in a panic about this thing that's spreading. There's a source from it. There's a source.
You want to stay away. You want to not touch things that were near it. Do you want to?
It was once you might not realize it watching it, but once you learn after you watched it that it was written during the pandemic, you're like, oh, of course it was. It's all paranoia of the other that you can't see that's going to get you.
And also not listening to that paranoia and doing it anyway.
And doing it exactly.
Which is very pandemic.
Joe Bob pointed out that just about every woman in this movie is right and every man is wrong.
Every man's wrong.
And they tell them what they should do, and then they say, nah, I'm going to do what I think I should do anyway.
Right.
And they screw it up.
It's
frustrating at times because you're like, no, what are you doing? Ah!
It's the most not in your face Trumpian movie I've ever seen in my entire life. If you wanted to put it in that perspective.
Sure.
If he were going to write an evil movie, it would be this movie. This would be except it wouldn't prove him that he was an idiot and wrong, like this movie proves that men are wrong all the time, because we generally are.
And human nature is wrong, it seems, just in general.
Yeah.
That you get told what to do, like here's the rules, and then you're like, oh yeah. I know better than those rules.
Right.
I'm smarter than those rules,
right.
Says the 72 IQ Trump.
Yeah. I know which ones I can bend and get around. And
yeah. Listen, those rules, somebody made up those rules.
And it's not just Trump, by the way. It's all of us idiot men.
Yes, I've overthought this so much that only I have come up with a solution.
Right.
Now, if you're America's foremost cowboy and you're talking cowboy shit, goddamn it, I got your answer. True. All right. That's right, Tano. I'm gonna start changing my voice.
I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to get away from Tano. We can't do that.
No,
I don't think.
Johnny Depp did it.
Yeah,
he's doing fine. And Johnny Depp was doing full on like, oh, Imosabe,
yeah,
Lone Ranger friend.
Johnny Depp gets away with a lot of stuff.
I was doing a caveman voice. I wasn't doing that stereotypical. That was a joke there. All right, first shot of this great movie. We got a window. They hear gunshots. There's some brothers we meet. One of them's kind of dumb, seems like. Is that why they put the beret on him?
The Jaime one?
They put the beret on him. They're like this one's in.
The one with shares the name with me. Yeah. Yeah, he's the dumb one.
He's not the. He's always. He doesn't believe or accept anything. He's always just like, nah, I don't think it was that.
Right.
What was that? It's probably a puma. The guy's like, a puma? You see it?
Got sawed in half.
Sawed in half. They go out
Very
to the
cleanly.
woods. They to follow the gunshots. These brothers do. And it's very rural. And this is when you get the first shot. They're walking through a foggy field, and it's beautiful. And the title comes up. And they don't tell you this. This is why I like this movie. There's no exposition for a long time. You just have to get in your head.
Unlike the next movie that is all exposition.
All exposition. They don't tell you that this has been happening for a while, but I think it has. Like, I think this is a plague that has overcome this land. Because at one point, so they find a body, it's cut in half. And they find a cool, all I can call it, a box with cool stuff in it.
Yeah, it was never really explained.
No, wasn't never explained, which also I like. We don't
Right.
need the
Even whenever
explanation.
what's her name had one, it's still not explained.
No, he's setting it up. It looks like it's a surveyor's tool,
Yeah.
of some sort, but that can't be what it is. It's like a compass. It's like a golden brass set of clock. It's something.
Right, but
don't know
it's
what.
clearly something that the Catholic Church uses in it's movie
Yes.
anyway,
It looks like
historically
something,
to
Da Vinci made, like it's comes
Yeah.
out of Da Vinci's sketches. This is
Right.
what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's cool. And he finds a book. And
we just know you have to have it to rid demons, rid
it's
people
a,
of
it's,
demons.
there's a thing called a cleaner, and that was his toolbox, basically.
Right.
He got cut in half by someone. They go to the nearest place.
Well, they find a picture of that.
Oh, that's
that
right.
Maria
That's right.
or whatever, and then
You're right, yes.
she just lives up here. Yeah.
Yeah. So they go there to the lady, and she says, he was here to kill my son. So you're like, what? The dude that's dead out. He was here to kill my son, she says. And you could tell they're like already like smelling something in the house. And then we get possibly the grossest person ever filmed.
I was thinking that when we were watching the movie. I don't know that I've ever seen or been grossed out more by a character in a movie or in real life.
It really is the grossest thing I've ever seen, to the point where
I thought there was a hint of gag in my throat just watching it. Like
there's certain things that they put detail in that made me go, oh God, and I had to look away. And they show him so rarely and so briefly when they do that you think like, well, it's just a flash of him. But when you see him,
yeah,
this
dude.
isn't even really the bad. You can't see it because it's so contrasted out in this picture. He's always got like some stuff
Pus.
coming out of his pussy, and there's one shot where you can see like that his urine has turned into like a pudding like yellow substance that is just all over
It's
his
what
legs.
it's the urine fetus.
That's later.
Fecal matter mixture.
Yes, it's just like this.
Because he's
dude.
like, I'm
It's-
guessing
it's-
he's 600 pounds, 700
Yes, and
pounds.
he's just laying in a bed of filth.
Then he has been for a year.
Yeah, they say he's been sick for a year and he's rotten. And the one brother recognizes it immediately.
Right.
He's like, he starts freaking out. He's like, you can't have this. He goes to Lewis, the owner of the land. And this is another part.
I just called him Ruiz.
They don't lean into it. But these people are renting on his land, and they are foreign there. And he instantly is like, I never should have let him
They
come
just
here.
had a wall.
Yeah, he just had a wall. And he's instantly like, I should have never let him come here. They're the ones that brought it here. And there's a whole underlying like immigration bringing, or just outside bringing evil in. Anyway, he's the grossest dude ever. They go see the guy. He's like, I can't do anything about it. Louise. And then there's like just a quick scene of him and his wife sitting at dinner, and he's not talking. And he's like, I can't have that there. So he goes to check it out, and when he walks in, it's even worse when he walks in.
Yeah.
Because this thing starts talking to him, telling him he's going to get inside his unborn baby, and he's going to possess his wife and kill his kid, and it is rough. And so he goes and gets he's like, so here's the question: did he pick up the rules? Do we know the rules?
We do.
I didn't write them down.
I wrote them.
One of them is, do not use firearms. There's 7 rules when dealing with the. And the grandma forgets one of them. She gives her rules. And
rule number 1: do not use electric lights.
Now that one was
because
weird to me. She says what?
Someone else. The kid says why. At one point, because the shadows cast by electric lights invite evil because it's not natural. So.
Okay.
Number 2
pick that up.
is don't get close to animals that have been around.
Yes, very important rule.
3 is
A little late, by the way, Grandma.
yeah. Don't take anything that was close to them. So laying near them, anything, I guess, emotionally or physically close to them. I guess, because it's kind of by touch, I guess. Don't hurt them is number 4.
Yeah, no, that one I didn't get. Don't hurt them. If you, I mean, I don't know. Just don't threaten them, I guess.
Number 5 is very important. Never name the evil by its name.
That's right.
I don't. Did that even come into play in this?
Well, it did. It's very subtly. I don't know if you picked it up. So Grandma says,
Yeah.
at one point, don't ever name the evil, and then she starts naming
off,
and then the kids like,
Lucifer,
you're naming them.
Lucifer, Beelzebub. Yeah.
Is it Azrael?
Yeah.
So I watch everything with subtitles. That's the only reason. Well, you had subtitles on. Did you notice?
Yeah.
That there is a child. I don't know what to call him. He's intellectually.
He's autistic.
Well, he's autistic, but he's also intellectually.
Shut.
Whatever. Anyway, he might be. I don't want to say he has cerebral palsy, but it seems like that he can't like move or communicate.
Right.
Anyway, if you notice the subtitles, the whole scene, he's just like moaning, but he's actually saying Azrael.
Right.
The entire
and possessed at one point. He says possessed over and over and over.
Yes, that's right. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool.
Smurfs.
Yeah.
Don't shoot them. Also,
they go to the police. The police are like, "This isn't. We don't care. This isn't real."
we find out number 7 later.
Oh, that's right. What is number 7?
I'll have to find out later.
I don't remember. I only remembered it because I think Joe Bob told me. They go to the police. Police don't care. They go to this new guy, Louis, and he's the one that it has the immigrant turn, and he's automatically got conspiracies about like where it came from, how to, it's kind of fun. It's very COVID. That's very COVID about it.
The 7th rule is don't be afraid to die.
Don't be afraid
of dying.
That's right.
Like that was so intricate the way I couldn't think of that. Yeah.
So he goes to the gun with kill the blob. He says, "You coward, kill me." It's pretty intense. They decide to remove him, and this is the even grosser part where they're like, "Well, how are we going to move this thing?"
Dude, it's.
And they like roll him on the floor.
I thought this was
sound effects
of all of the scenes in this movie that had any type of yuck factor or just this scene where they're dealing with him is the most disgusting to me.
It's bad.
It's there's nothing scarier or like nothing had an impact on me more in this movie than
this did?
Yes.
It's bad because they end up dragging him out with a blanket. But by the time they get him outside,
it's so covered in
feces
and
stuff, and it like rips, and he falls to the ground. And then he starts yelling at the family. I thought this part was funny. He's yelling at the family to go get a blanket to take their possessed son away, so he's going to drive him out of state, basically.
Yeah.
And he's yelling at him, "Get a blanket, you bitch!"
It's going nuts on him, man.
They get a blanket. It cuts to them putting him in the truck. Let's just cut to the chase. They lose him. They pull the truck over way far away, and they're like, "What? He's open." It reminded me of another great little indie movie I saw once, where somebody loses something out of the back of a truck. And anyway,
so they swerve to miss a kid that's in the road.
Yeah, they swerve to miss a kid.
They stop and they look, and the guy's gone.
Yeah, he's just gone. There's nothing in the back of the bed of the truck, just slime, just like his feces stuff's all over the bed of the truck. And I was like, "Go get a hose, go to a car wash."
Yeah, it's all over.
They kept touching the tailgate.
Yeah.
Stop touching it.
They're talking about how bad they're in the truck, and they're like, "Man, that's a smell, right?"
Pedro's smelling his hands. Pedro's are the lead of this movie. By the way, I didn't have any ins or outs because it came out last year. I don't know what else to tell you. You can do the things yourself. So that he's gone, and
they're just like, "Yeah, it's probably far enough away anyway." They were 400 kilometers is what they drove.
They said they're pretty far away.
Yeah.
So then they go, and what happens next? The brothers are just thinking, "Oh," then we see the goat, right?
Yeah.
The goat scene comes.
Which I didn't think she was going to be in there. Like I thought she was on. They were on tour doing whenever.
She was out there.
Just like a one wing dove.
She was out there. You never accept the sound of a woman who loves you. I love Stevie Nicks. It's her season. It's her season right now. We can't make fun of the goat. You're talking about
this next theme,
Kelly Wells
goat
again.
scene, man.
All right.
It's something else too.
So yeah, this scene, I think most people think of two scenes when they think of this movie: it's the goat scene and the dog scene. It took so long to get I don't have a picture of it. It took so long to get the goat scene filmed. I better turn this because if people might be too much. There we go.
It's a great dog, dude. It's a great looking dog.
It really is.
It's like Turner and Hooch. Yeah.
It's a big old.
It's a young Turner.
Big old sad sack. So yeah, the goat. The woman comes screaming at Lewis, and she just side on one, and Paul Giamatti would be playing him in America. She goes to Paul Giamatti, and she's like, "Paul, the goats come outside." And you don't really know what's going on. We see a couple dead animals laying around. Do you notice that? They don't point them out, but there's like a dead cow or
I couldn't really make out what was happening, like what she would have seen to
they don't bring attention to
cause alarm.
But she says it's the goats, and she points out, and there's one goat that's just staring at him. All the other goats are just moving around. I think it took 3 days, they said, to get the goats to cooperate to get this shot.
Really?
3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some patience.
Couldn't you just drug them and make them do what you want? That's what we do as a species. Like,
you're gonna eat them later. True story. The goat that got used, he would have supposed to go to market, but because he's a famous goat, got to live and had a family.
Yeah, sweet.
So there you go. No goats were harmed in the making of this movie. Anyway, all the goats run away except for this one
So
goat.
he shoots.
He shoots in the air, and all the goats are like, and they all, except for one goat who like walks towards him.
Yeah, just standing there looking him in the eye.
Staring him down. He's like, "It's you. And he puts the gun, and his wife's like, "Don't do it. You
the
can't
goat
use firearms."
walks up and puts its own head against the barrel of the gun.
Because we've learned, without them telling us, that if you kill the host, the rotten, the demon gets to just go wherever he wants to, and he can take you. But also, the rules are sketchy because the guy's still alive. They didn't. Spoilers. At the end, the original rotten guy, he's not on TV anymore. He's not dead.
Yeah, it made me pause
like,
and think for a while. Was there more than one, or
is there more than one demon? Is it like Legion? Because they always say demons are Legion, and it can be all as one type of thing. And I think maybe it comes from him. Yeah. Just like a disease, it spreads from the first rotten, and then it makes everybody rotten. Right. The same demon. And I think their theory is it's like a vampire. If we kill the head vampire, maybe it will kill all the rest. He won't keep infecting others. But everybody else is rotten now. It's okay though. I don't mind that the rules are confusing because it's its own movie.
Why do you think? So they had the theory early that the guy was a rotten. He's possessed by a demon. They had already waited a year for the cleaner to come. The cleaner finally tries to come, and he gets killed.
Somebody killed him. Yeah,
they decide to move this guy 400 and something kilometers. They didn't pass a freaking Christian or a Catholic church in 400 kilometers that they could have taken a guy to get a cleaner.
They covered that because she says, "I called the church," and Pedro screams at her, "Churches are dead, ma'am. Churches are dead," which I guess that means churches have just died.
But you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't believe in this demonic possession stuff and then say that churches are dead and they can't help.
That is a very good point. It's almost as if
you can't force a plot.
I think the evil has. I don't know. You have to do your own homework. Yeah. You're right.
I've done my own research, Joe.
I expect you to do that. I heard that at a party.
Anyway, that was just a little
party the other day. And I started cracking up.
There was just a little something I had a problem with.
That's a good point. Because they do say a couple times that there are no churches left. I thought it was just that evil was so pervasive in this land that people did not have faith in God to protect them anymore. Because if you notice, nobody's praying. Nobody's saying like, "Uh-oh, let's get a Bible after these creatures." Everybody's got their own new rules.
But that's just
new rules.
New rule, Bill Maher.
New rule, Bill Maher.
God's dead.
God's dead. And demons don't matter.
But it
is a good point because if you have a demon, it
kind of proves.
Yeah, you're right. The brothers decide to leave. Oh, we missed this part. He blows the goat's head off.
How did we almost get past that?
And his wife is coming up behind him with an axe, and you think like,
because you're not supposed to use guns against him.
You're not supposed to use guns, so you think like she's like, "Hey, dude, use this axe. Don't use that gun, or don't even." She's actually saying like, "Don't kill him. It's gonna spread. It's gonna." She's like, I'm pregnant. He's gonna get my baby." And of course, he does what she tells him not to, and
he's a man.
Blows the goat's head off. And she
instantly, all you see is his face and an axe come in.
Hits your face. He's dead, so.
That was definitely a jump factor.
And then and then you get this devastating shot, which is usually the box cover for this movie.
Yeah.
If it's not that, it's Pedro with the 3.
That disturbed me more than her hitting him in the face with an axe.
This did?
Yes, her hitting herself in the face with the axe.
Because it's true that you see it a lot in movies, but a psychologically well person does not have the mental capacity to knock themselves out.
Right.
Your body will stop you from doing it. If you took something to try to hurt yourself, your body would stop you unless you are in such distress that you're out of your mind, like literally temporarily insane from whatever.
You're soft-brained.
Then you could do that. You're soft-brained. You could do that. So watching her.
You're donkey-brained.
Donkey-brained. That's right. So to watch her, and then she just picks it up and immediately starts going. And it's slow and like methodic, and by the third one,
the first one was a pretty hard, quick hit, and then it's like a little slower, and then it's just like.
But the last one goes in really deep.
Yeah, it does.
And then the very last one, she can't quite make it all the way up, and she falls over. It is brutal.
That's a brutal. Yeah. So my two
hats off to this.
My two big scenes in this movie, happened early. There was the gross guy, the rotten guy, and that scene were the two most impactful scenes to me.
It is very. I think they keep it up.
Which is surprising because of the dog scene.
I was gonna say I think the dog scene it doesn't top it, but I think it's. It keeps it going.
It's a holy crap moment.
Yeah, the brothers leave with nothing. They're like, we have to leave now, and we take nothing. I was like, this is like Amityville Horror.
Right.
They left everything.
But yet they have to come and get his kids, which is not leaving everything. It's getting something.
He shows up at ex-wife's. This is a whole big thing. The ex-wife's husband's a real jerk. However, he does bust into the house.
Yeah.
And start stripping his clothes.
Yeah, jerk or not, that's not.
He's like, wake up.
It's not kosher.
No. He's like, wake up, everybody. We got to get out of here. There's a rotten in town. And they're both instantly like, oh, jeez, this guy. Apparently, he's a bit of a loser. We find out later. Pedro, with his son,
hero,
with his son, our hero. I like that Pedro he is full of fear, and you can see his fear, and you can almost see him knowing all of his flaws, and like knowing, like, I don't think I'm capable of handling this. Spoilers, he's not. So they show up. They're fighting. This is when we meet the big, beautiful dog there, and that dog is a Doge de Bordeaux.
Yeah, it's
I don't know, B-O-R, however you say it. Oh, Bordeaux. It's a Doge Bordeaux.
Yes, that's pretty close.
But it is Joe Bob explained that everybody uses Rottweilers. And I forgot something. I may or may have not taken some things earlier. A Rottweiler. And the director was like, no, everybody, when they see a Rottweiler in a movie people know if they see a Rottweiler, that Rottweiler's going to attack somebody because they're the dogs to train. And he was like, I want this dog. And the animal trainer was like, please don't. They are the laziest, hardest to train, most stubborn dogs in the world. They're sweethearts, but they do not want to do what you tell them to do. And the director was like, I don't care. So once again, he had I don't know how many days it said it took just to get the dog, to do the motion. So what happens is he takes off his clothes. He says, I have to burn these clothes, but he takes them off inside the house like an idiot. This reminded me of people washing their bags of chips when they came home from pandemic. He takes off the clothes, and you see the dog smelling him.
Yep.
And it cut to the dog enough that something's up.
Yeah,
with this dog.
I instantly, I was like, the dog just touched the clothes. That's going to probably come into play.
Yeah.
Because it says not,
Yeah, and they keep cutting to him, just looking like a big old sad-eyed, you just want to rub his face. He's so cute.
Sitting right next to this
Adorable little girl.
Adorable little girl.
And she's like down on his level, like looking at him, hugging him, like a little
Just
kid
loves
would.
the dog to
Just
death.
Loves the
Literally.
dog. Her best friend, and out of nowhere, this freaking dog just goes, and
just
it's so
engulfs her head and
hard
drags.
to see. Drags her out of the scene, and then the little brother comes down the stairs. And the little brother's hears it. You can hear it. And what makes it the worst thing ever is the little girl is making a noise like a rabbit would make when a dog gets an animal and shakes it.
Yeah.
And they go. That's the sound the little girls make.
And it also he's just ragdolling.
The
her
little
too.
boy, and you're like, don't look under the table, little boy. Don't do it. Don't look. I don't want to see what's going on underneath there. And he looks, and then they show you, and yes, he's what you said, rag. He's just got the little girl, just shaking it.
It's like
a dog would.
Yeah, your dog with its favorite toy and just shakes it as hard and fast as it.
And he screams, and of course the adults are
too busy.
There's another
arguing.
thing, another great thing I like this movie. The adults do not listen to kids in this movie. And the kids are right. And they're like, something's wrong. Like, shut up. We have adult problems.
Right.
It's like, no, your freaking daughter's
bigger
got a real
than
problem
that.
than what you think you have. And then they go to look under the table again. And you're like, oh, God, what's it going to be this time?
Right.
And he runs out with carrying the girl and just blasts out the house. And
carrying her by the back of the neck, like she would if it were her pup or something.
Yeah.
Like just
runs off with her, and everybody starts
I
screaming.
brought these because they won't show up on camera.
Hey, all right. That's a great idea. Everybody runs out of the house.
Camo.
Everybody runs out of the house. What the dads do, and this great chase starts with the dog, chasing the dog away, and with the girl. But we don't ever see it after that. Once it runs out of the house,
until
they find the dog.
Yeah,
and they find the dog, and cut out the middle music. It seems like we have a lot of time. We don't.
We're doing way better in this episode.
We are, though.
There's no jacking around.
No,
really.
it's too serious of a movie. There's nothing to joke about, really. They find the dog, and Pedro's like, don't shoot it. And he shoots it anyway. And then we come back to the house, and the little girl's there, and she's fine.
Yeah. That's when I knew. Oh,
yeah.
crap. There's no blood. There's no mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
She is.
They don't ever show you what
She is
happened
passed on and come back as the demon.
What happened to the real girl. And the mom's like, oh, my God, you're here. You're safe. Where's my husband? And she tells the mom, like, oh, he's going to come back and he's going to kill you. He's going to come back and bam. And
yeah, Daddy's coming back with the truck and he's going to kill you.
Yes.
And she just laughs, but she just whispers it in this innocently creepy way into her ear.
Yeah.
And her mom's like, what? What?
And she's holding it. So we now know he killed the dog. So now he's got the rotten. The dad does. And then as the brothers are leaving, he's got to go get his autistic son out of bed, which are like, what? There's another kid in this poor family? They bring him down, kidnap him essentially, and the little boy. They're taking off. And as they take off, here comes the other dad in the truck and just plows into the mom and daughter.
I couldn't tell if the daughter was there or not because the daughter was like off to the side after.
But I think that's just she was never there to begin with.
Right.
I think was what we're supposed to believe.
But dude, he just plows right into his wife and just smashes her into the house.
And then, are we supposed to believe that you see him kind of look over and you see the daughter dancing around?
Right.
Did he just wake up from being possessed and realize that he killed his wife and that his ghost daughter is a demon now?
Yeah, I don't.
I couldn't figure out, like, is he rotten still, or did he just leave it? Because we know later in the movie we find out the demon can just leave people and they go back to being their normal person.
I think it's there's no importance put on him. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, if he just had a look in his face like, what did I just do?
Right.
And why is my daughter dancing and smiling at me right now?
Yeah. He is of no consequence to anything at this point. But
incredible scene. They get out of town, except they got to go pick up their mom now. And whatever. However, they get mom in with them, and
but she's a denier too. At first, everyone's a denier.
Yeah, at first she is. She's like, that just happens in the city.
Yeah, you just
which I thought was funny. Like, oh, we're safe out here in the country.
Right. You just misinterpreted stuff basically. You've seen things and you got scared, and now you're paranoid and you're misinterpreting what's really going on. It's basically her spiel.
Yeah, and then she gets into, like you said, deny, and then she's like, all right, here's the rules.
Yeah, she starts saying, she's like, oh, do you not know the rules?
She's like,
There's
do you
a
not know the
song.
song? World famous song. Yeah. Don't hide. And she starts singing, and they're like, shut up. Both the brothers are like, shut up, Mom. We don't need to know these friggin' rules.
That was a song, bud. That's Ring Around the Rosie creepy.
If that was a hit song. He bribes his autistic son with ice cream.
Apple ice cream, apparently.
Apple ice cream, which I was like,
I've never had that. It might be great. I don't know.
If it was just no, I don't want my ice cream flavored. If they had chunks of apple with like cinnamon swirls. Oh, Jesus Christ. By the way, I have something to rant about iPhones here. Okay. Oh, are we tired of iPhone users using their loved and their liked and their things if you're not an iPhone user? Because what they might not realize is whenever they like something, we have to see the entire goddamn post again that says so-and-so liked this giant post, and we're supposed to read that thing again?
Right. It's annoying, for sure. I don't know that if I'm ready to make a stand on it. Well,
I'm about ready to join the dark side and get an iPhone because I'm so sick of seeing it. That's how I am.
So they don't see that stuff? It's just us?
It doesn't double for them. It's just a little heart pops up. It says they loved it, or they liked it, or whatever. But for us, it's just like
just like Apple just
it's just
poking
Apple,
the bear.
Yes, it's exactly what it is.
Either
it's Apple being like, hey, you want to be annoyed by us some more? Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and get one? You won't have to see this shit anymore. Here you go. Steve Jobs from the grave.
You can only be able to use our chargers.
But, until now when we decided to go with the charger that Samsung's had for fucking 12 years. iPhone. That's not what I wanted to rant about, but apples. My son got a.
Funny how that comes about.
That's right. No, I was talking shit about Steve Jobs and Elon Musk at a party the other day, and you can really weed out some people by the people that walk away.
Yeah.
I was like, don't you hate billionaires that were just given millions of dollars by their father and then hired a bunch of smart people to do things, and then we're like, look how smart I am.
Yeah.
I made millions of dollars. I'm a smart guy. I got hair plugs. I'm celibate by choice, you guys. I bet you are. Yeah. You droopy ass.
Sitting there like DiCaprio and what's even Gilbert Grape.
Oh, what's nonetheless, Apple.
Oh, look how smart I am.
Eckert's, if you're from the area, you know about Eckert's. And my son got a someone gave him a caramel apple from Eckert's. Now here's the thing.
Did it have a razor blade in it? Is that where this is going?
That's where this is going. The old myth is true. Caramel apples used to be my favorite thing, my favorite seasonal treat in the world. Like when fall came, I was like, get me Affy Tapple caramel apples. I could eat one a day.
Caramel apples and the popcorn balls were my favorite.
Oh yeah, I get that. I don't like candy apples. I like caramel apples with just plain nuts on them. But I can't eat that sort of stuff anymore for many reasons. But so I haven't had them in a couple of years. And he got one, and this son of a bitch was covered in crushed up Reese's Pieces, some type of like toffee chunks, chocolate. Some nuts. There were some nuts in it, but it was like that thick of coating
of diabetes.
Of diabetes. And I took like the smallest bite you could imagine, like that, and it was so good. I was so jealous. I was like, "Where have these been at back when I could eat caramel apples? Right. These are the greatest caramel apples I've ever tasted in my life." So, next year I might have to indulge in one of those. No ice cream. They can't find any ice cream. Grandma
They
reads
didn't have
off
any
the
money.
rules.
Yeah,
They don't have any money. We read the rules to you earlier. Grandma tells us the rules. That's when we find out the autistic boy's been saying Azrael and saying possession the whole time. Possessed. This is when our boy Pedro. This is when his dead wife calls him.
Yeah.
And it's pretty vicious.
That's there's nothing to that scene, but it's creepy just knowing.
Yeah. Because he buys it for a second.
Yeah.
He's like, "What? Is it Bernard or whatever?"
I just saw you die.
Yeah,
I just watched you die. I know you're dead.
And she goes on to be like, you're a loser. That's why I banged everybody that you know. And like, it's just a bunch of horrible stuff, demon stuff. Then they stop at a place and the grandma sees the dead wife and the dead daughter.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, they have me on sleeping pills. So good that you made it here." And then she turns, and of course, we, the audience, know there's no way it's the wife because she got mangled, and the daughter is a demon. So, and it's weird. Pedro goes up there and has a conversation with it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty creepy just because of the. What I love about this movie, there's no camp. And this is what so many movies need to learn. Stop putting jokes in your movie.
Yeah.
If this movie would have had a stupid joke after like a intense moment, because American movies are always like, well, you gotta placate the little fuckers in the audience. We gotta make a joke so they feel okay. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Keep them on edge. This movie hits you in the nuts from the get-go, and it never lets up.
Yeah.
There's some funny moments, but it's funny out of like nerves almost.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, they're all nervous.
Oh, this guy
They're nervous laughs for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man, this guy's
Okay.
a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes up there and they have a whole conversation. Meanwhile, his autistic son is in the car, and we see something bloody hit. What hits that car?
It was the wife.
That was the wife.
Yeah, that
Oh,
happened
okay.
just before. So she
that.
comes up.
All right, I missed what it was. I just knew blood hit the car, hit bloody thing. And then who's the next lady they meet? Is that their mom? The lady that's like an expert about.
That is.
Or is that just a lady that knows stuff? Or is
It's,
that,
so that's whose house they're at, right?
Yeah. Is that the other brother's
The ex something like yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. She's like, I've seen this before. They can get lost in an autistic person's mind because
They can possess the body, but the mind they can't figure the mind out.
They can't figure out the mind because
Yeah.
it works so differently than other minds. So now we find out he's possessed, and they drop him off with Grandma and leave him. Great idea. It's gonna add up later. And they tell him again.
She jumps out the window with the son.
Oh, that's right. She jumps out the window. With
Second
the son.
story window,
And
just
and they go outside and there's nothing there.
yeah.
That's right. Let's see here. They can get
Kind of
lost up.
neat-
What happens to him? Then when do we see the son again?
When she's walking down the street eating his brain.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So it was kind of a meat tenderizing moment, I guess,
forgot.
jumping out of the
I
window.
forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you forget something like that, but,
But it's
okay.
a different person then, isn't it? Because
No.
Pedro's brother
That's
then runs into her, and then she says to him, he says to her, "I always loved you," or something. It's a real weird moment where I was like,
She says to him, "You said you loved me."
"You said you loved me." That's what it was. So was he fooling around with her? Or
I
something?
guess, but so yeah, he sees her. She's walking down the street. He
That's
stops.
right.
She walks by him, just pulling chunks of brain out of her son's
Yeah, and eating.
head and eating them. And then he's like, guns it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care.
Runs
about the
into
rules
her.
anymore.
Runs into a pole.
and just crushes her. Yeah, and then her head is inside of the windshield.
And then she wakes up and says, "You said you loved me." Or
Yeah, it's rough. There's no scene in this movie that's not rough.
But there's not the weird thing is there's not even much of her son left while she's walking down. Like she's eaten.
It's
almost-
hard. It's hard to see what's even.
Yeah, there's like an arm and a little bit of a torso and maybe one
we missed
leg.
something really important. The one lady tells us a story of a possessed girl who they went to exercise her, and they showed up and she was there back to normal, but she was puking and she puked up all the pieces of the family. Of her family.
She'd eaten her entire family the night before. Yeah.
Which is some now that's some metaphysical stuff there. I don't know how that's working. That's some Teen Titans stretch of reality. So yeah, we're past that. Then is that the yes? So grandma's left the autistic boy, and he is possessed, but he can't figure out what's in it. And then all of a sudden, he walks in the room, and we realize like I don't think they cast a real autistic boy for this.
Yeah. The demon figures out the brain.
It out, and he
pretty
comes
quick.
in the room, and he's like, "Hey, grandma,
I'm cold.
cold.
I'm hungry.
Cold. Can you make me something? I need some tea, maybe something to warm up." And he grabs a thing and covers it, and he walks by and just kind of barely touches her on the shoulder.
And she is freaked
And she's just like,
out.
like, oh,
She is
God.
like
He's not autistic
petrified.
anymore, basically. She knows she's done for.
Yeah.
And then they leave this, and we never see him again.
No.
Until the very end. We'll get to that. Then we find out, I don't remember how they get there, but the ex-lady and Pedro are like, they get to the school, and they're like, they have to be in school. And then she says a great line here. She says, evil loves children, and children love evil.
Yep.
I was like, what?
She tells Pedro it isn't too late
Yeah, she's
to
like,
save, because the first thing the evil ends is the sound of nature, and the birds and the crickets are still making noise. So
yes.
it's not too late to say to deal with the situation.
Yes, and she has the thing. Like, I don't remember where she got, but she's got the device we saw earlier.
The Da Vinci device.
The Da Vinci device. That's right. We should write our own movie called The Da Vinci Device. It's all about the guy making that device to kill the beast. It turns out it won't work anyway. All these movies are bullshit. Let's see here. Oh, she finds the kids in the classroom.
In the classroom, just sitting. It's like 1 a.m.
Yeah, and they're
And just children sitting in their chairs in the classroom,
some
just
of them have
looking
bloody
forward.
mouth, and some of them have things like dripping from them, and they've soiled themselves. And there's just there's one girl though that seems like maybe she doesn't want to be there,
Yeah.
and Pedro proceeds to just beat the living shit. I mean, really, like, she comes out, she's like, "Follow me."
So, did you notice something?
I know where the evil is.
There's a paper cutout on the window of the school whenever Pedro and the other woman go in.
Okay.
There's a paper cutout, like taped. And it is the same exact thing that Jair, the autistic kid, had on the paper in crayon next to him in the
did
car
notice that.
when Pedro remember Pedro
Yeah,
picks up
yeah.
that paper, and there's the kids holding hands, and there's a
yeah.
sun above. And then whenever they walk into the school, it's cut out in paper, and
I
so it's
noticed
kids
that.
holding hands, and above it is a sun.
I saw the kids holding hands, but I did not.
I'm not sure
connect.
what that symbolizes, but
It's
maybe
it's a new dawn, I think.
the dark sun cometh and
Yeah.
taketh the children witheth. I believe it's
I think it's the dawn of a new world with the children, using the children to break through. Because there's kids there, and he slaps the crap out of one of them. One of the kids comes back, and Pedro's like, "I'm gonna go inside and beat that kid until he tells me where
Right.
this thing is." We know the evil's here. The kid comes out. He's like, "Oh, he's over there." Dumb Pedro's like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
And the woman's like, "You idiot."
Man stupid.
Yeah, the woman's like, "You idiot."
Woman smart.
It's not going to be there. Like, the kid's clearly lying to you. It's a trap. They go back in. They go in, and the stage is covered in white stuff.
Right.
And they start prying up the stage.
Which the children have on their
Yes.
faces, and
yes, they have white stuff. There's handprints all over the
she's
curtains.
gagging of Pedro's
Yeah.
like, what? And she was like, did you not smell the breath of those children? Like, like whatever they've been eating is
Oh, yeah.
rancid.
And then they start prying back the stage boards, and there's just dead folks everywhere.
Are we
covered in
off the
line.
air? No, not yet.
No, not yet.
I've got some cursing to do.
The little girl comes in, and once again she's like, "Don't do it." She's like, "They're gonna kill you." She seems like she's maybe not one of them, but we know she is. And Pedro keeps pulling shit out and starts pulling, like, moving dead bodies aside. There's just I don't know how many dead bodies.
Pile
down
of
there.
adults.
And at one point he pushes back, and we finally see the bloated man from
Yeah.
earlier.
Whatever.
Azul? It can't be Azul. It's
We sound so
I think
Republican
I
right
think
now.
it's Arul or something. I wrote it down somewhere.
Kamala.
Kamala. Kami. There he is, and he's like, "Kill me, kill me, Pedro." And she's like, "Don't do it. I got the device here.
This is the only thing that works
It's
properly.
all gonna work." And he starts goating Pedro, like, "Come on." Like, I don't even know what he says. He just starts goating him, and Pedro's like,
just starts cursing at him.
And the little girl's like, "There's an axe over in this room," and she's like, "She's lying. There's no axe.
Don't let him separate us.
Don't let him separate us. Like, just let me put this thing together, and I can exercise this dude, and this will be over." And Pedro
doesn't listen.
Runs to the phantom axe that isn't there, gets locked in a room, and then the next thing we know, he looks back in, and what's her name's on the ground, and another brutal scene.
Children are just
bashing her head in with hammers.
Yeah, and dragging her out. This huge blood slide, and
it's so like that scene stuck out to me as being a horrible scene.
Yeah, because the little girl's standing there with a hammer, and she just like hits the woman, and then she looks up at him.
Yeah.
Just calmly, and then looks back down at her and just hits her again.
It's horrible.
It's like a 6-year-old girl just killing this woman with a hammer.
And then Pedro grabs a frickin' post or something. Oh, he grabs the device, the exorcist, the scope-looking thing, and beats the blob's head in. And then we didn't know this was going to happen. Out of the blob, this is why he was so big, comes this cool naked devil boy. Like it was born out of this thing. And all the kids are just like, "Yay, he's here." I have to admit, the first time I watched it, I was like, I did not see that coming.
No.
At all.
So here's a hot take.
And then they walk off.
Do you think whenever the kid walks, because Pedro drops down to his knees, he's crying.
Yeah.
And the kid walks by him.
And he puts his fingers on
runs his fingers across his forehead and leaves that trail of blood.
Yeah.
The 4 lines of blood. And then Pedro the next day takes a shower, he washes his face, he does all this stuff, and it's still there. Is that the mark of the beast? Is that the first person to receive the mark of the beast? And this is Satan coming to...
Maybe it is.
I don't know.
You know what? If it was a fingerprint, we'd have to look closely at the fingerprint. I thought it was just 3. But if it was broken up into...
Kind of, because it's... I don't know what it does.
If it was 3 and it was broken up into 2, then you would have 6. You'd have 3. You'd have 6 on your head.
Yeah.
Just a thought. But I had a picture of it. Actually, it was going to be one of my backgrounds, and I thought, nah, we don't need that one. But yeah, so the kid comes out.
Clearly we did.
He marks Pedro's head. My bad. Pedro's down on his knees. And I was like, is Pedro now... like giving in to him? Is that what's happening?
I think he's just giving up.
Pedro goes back. His brother's made it somehow, and he hugs his brother. Then we see the autistic boy on the porch. We're like, uh-oh. But he's back to normal, and
by normal you mean jacked up.
He's autistic again, and he's finally got his ice cream, and he gives him his ice cream, and we also see
ice cream. Look at that.
There was a number of bullets on the table.
Yeah, there was 5 because they make an odd number about that.
Yeah,
or an odd remark about that earlier, and then he comes back in. There's 4.
There's 4 of them. Did the grandma kill herself? Because this is what happens after we see the bullet things. Is the boy's eating his ice cream? He starts choking, and his dad's like, "Too fast, slow down." And he's like, really choking, like I was at the beginning of the show. And he starts digging in his throat, and a bunch of hair starts coming out. And it's just hair, and then he finally blood and like flesh chunks, and he pukes up the necklace. Did we see the grandma's necklace specifically earlier?
I think so. Yeah.
I thought we did.
Yeah, because she's in the car and she's doing this.
Yeah. Well, he ate his grandma. He saw this movie.
Like the whole thing, like all of grandma.
But then I thought, like, did she kill himself and then he ate her?
I think I took it as he shot her and then ate her.
Okay. I figured you're gonna eat somebody and you're a demon. You wouldn't go to the trouble of killing them.
Yeah, you just eat them alive.
Eating them, you know. What are they gonna do?
Right. I'm a demon.
And that's the end of When Evil Lurks. There's a bunch of flesh and crap comes out of the head.
Mouth. That shows the children walking across the field.
Oh yes, after he bashes after the new devil is born. They're just like walking into this sunset as if it's like
just covered in blood.
covered in blood, naked.
The dog is licking it off his hand.
He's happy about it.
Yeah.
All the kids are all smiley, except one of them looks a little nervous. Like, I don't know about this guy.
The one Democrat in the group.
And evil wins, and they walk out, and then the last shot is the brother. I don't even think does he even tell, or does the other dumb brother, has he figured it out by then?
No, I think the brother knows there's something in there he doesn't want to see. You can tell by the way he's very hesitant. Like he starts to walk into the house to see, and then he's just like stops and he's hesitant.
He's just leaning against a truck, and the other brother comes out. He doesn't even say anything to him. He just falls down on the ground and starts like, my son ate my grandma. I guess you should have killed him, Pedro. We find out at one point Pedro didn't want to have the he was going to kill the child when he found out it was going to be a difficult child to raise for Pedro. And that is when evil lurks. Man, we did it! Look at that!
Oh, no way.
By the
Right
way,
on the money, dude. Not even on purpose.
This is what we do at the end of the show. You never get to hear it, Carbondale.
Right?
Does this movie tie the room together? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
And it's not in the funny way. Like, it's in, do you want to watch a dead serious, hereditary type scary movie? This is the one to watch. Thanks for listening, everybody. And
how did that work?
I know we're not going off the air yet for me and you for podcast, but good night, Carbondale. And wow, I guess when you're not joking around, talking stupid shit the entire time.
So basically, if I shut up, we can get through movies. Is basically what's happening here.
I didn't have any diversions either myself. Yeah, good night, Carbondale. Thanks for listening.
So anyway, Pedro's a fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, Pedro's a dipshit.
Okay,
over and over.
I loved this movie. I loved everything that happened. I loved it all, except for this is we've talked about this a couple times. There's this. There's a little bit of forced
stupidity amongst
like nobody said so. Well, I just screwed up this movie, and I hate to keep harping about this, and I've brought it up a couple times in this episode.
Yeah,
and it's not necessarily a Republican thing, but it is. This is how Trump can take over a massive amount of people, because people are so stupid and they don't look into.
Yeah.
I'm fully aware, for any Republicans that are watching, that Democrats are not 100% telling the truth to all of us. They're pulling the wool over our eyes, like they have, like everyone has in politics since America has been America. But this is different with Republicans, and this is how it happens. Stupid people like this in this movie is how idiots like Trump take control. And
that's Pedro?
Yes.
See, I think Pedro is a little more sympathetic, because I think Pedro is aware of his stupidity.
I think Trump is aware of his stupidity.
No, I don't mean Trump. I mean, like, I'm not. Yes, Pedro is Trump. Okay, see, to me, I thought he was a follower. Because Pedro, to me, is like...
No, his ignorant brother is the follower.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, and just whatever. Because his brother does question everything.
But it doesn't matter.
But Pedro
it doesn't,
never listens to him.
No,
he just does what he wants.
That and the brother, it doesn't matter.
That's true. And
the truth, what the truth is, whether he finds out that it is demon or whether it finds out whatever, he still follows.
And every woman that tells Pedro what he should do, and his brother, he doesn't ever do it. He always does what he wants to do. He always does what he wants to do, and just
we won't listen to her.
Screws up everything.
Yeah.
It is a very backdoor feminist Democrat movie.
Yeah,
it
really is.
Well, I mean, it was written
COVID, with a certain perspective, but yeah.
Sure, I mean, I don't think it takes a genius to watch it and be like, oh.
Clearly, it doesn't take a genius, because I am far from a genius.
Just about
it's cold over here, by the way. I don't know how that.
No. It moved finally. Golly gee. But yeah, I don't have much else to say except watch it before Halloween gets here. It was last year's best movie, I think. I'm glad we watched it over Terrifier 2, because Terrifier 2 is a bunch of effects with not much of a movie.
So when you were telling me about this movie, and then when I watched it,
hey, look at that! What is that?
That's the tattoo. That's my tattoo. I forgot about that. I was expecting to be more scared. I wasn't like I loved this movie. I loved the.
Oh, it's not scary.
No, it's all just.
It's all tense. It's all.
It's
all tension and I don't want to look at that.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, the only way they're really gonna scare you and I these days. You
right.
know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like Hell House LLC, the first one, is scary in the sense that it makes you jump a lot and get like the creeps, but it's still not scary. I still don't find it scary. It raises my heart rate, I think.
The
This
last
one
movie to really scare me was when I was a kid, and
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
no, the Exorcist scared the shit out of me when I was a little kid. Like I had no business watching that movie.
I watched it too young too.
And
it was like
I couldn't
"No."
sleep. Like I couldn't sleep on my back for like a year after that. After where she's on her back, she's like it burns. Like he's
Yeah.
stabbing her in the back, trying to get in or whatever.
funny.
And I was freaked out. By
I was
that movie.
freaked out
But
by a lot of movies when I was little. I think I watched them too young, like Communion with
I also watched
Christopher-
it whenever
Oh, I did
I was,
too.
and that's
Yeah. I thought about. I was like, is July old enough to watch the old It, not the new It?
right.
I was like, it freaked
And,
me out. I think I was older than him, so maybe not.
What's the one where it's at?
Um,
And they're in Antarctica and
The Thing?
the thing.
The Thing is a great movie.
Yeah, the thing, dude. When
love
I was a
The
little
Thing.
kid, when that thing came out, that
Thing.
creeped me out.
I just read the other day. I didn't know this. The Thing got panned. Critics hated it.
Really?
Nobody went to see it. The original director of The Thing from Outer Space, of which it's based, like, wrote a letter of discontent, saying that it shouldn't have been made and it was a piece of crap. And people said the effects were, just too gross to take for real. And I don't know how you can watch that movie and think it's nothing but a Stone Cold classic horror movie.
Right, yeah.
Like it's great.
Yeah.
The effects hold up. Like it's.
So
from
they're
Outer-
fine with those people of that time. They watched Jaws, and they were like, "This is cool,"
Yeah, Jaws is a masterpiece.
but this movie's a piece of crap.
Yeah, somehow. Yeah, I think it was John Carpenter. I don't think they wanted to give John Carpenter any love. I think he was a horror boy, and they were like, he's always going to be a horror boy, and we don't like horror boys. Hey, it's our new podcast, Horror Boys. That's it for the. We always ask ourselves. Yeah, we said it already. It ties the room together.
Yeah.
Not in our normal.
Not at all in our normal way, but yeah,
right,
it's a legit movie with a legit plot
Yeah.
line and legit actors.
Like I
And
said, if you want to be creeped out, and if somebody says to you, "I like horror movies," is there any movie that you think I haven't seen? Like, what's a movie you saw that you don't think I've seen? I would say
When Evil Lurks.
When Evil Lurks is the movie to tell them. And if they talk to you again, then then we'll go from there. I really do wish the good doctor would have watched this movie.
Yeah. I think he would have been able. I don't think he would have been what he thinks. Like he would have been able to handle. He could have handled this easily.
Oh, he could have handled it. He might have been bothered by it.
Yeah, he'd have been squirmy when.
I think every time he thinks about it, he might be a little bothered. I think maybe that's the problem. Maybe it sticks with him too much.
Yeah, well, I mean, the dog scene. Look, the dog scenes that could stick in your head.
Goat scene, dog scene. For most people, it's the dog scene because it's because there's a little girl being hurt, a child.
And a beloved member of the family, the dog that did it. Yeah,
and then the dog. Joe Bob pointed out he breaks every rule, like the old traditional horror rules within the half of this movie. He kills a dog. He kills a kid. He kills a mom.
yeah.
Basically saying like no one is safe.
Right.
He's like they do it beautifully by setting up the movie, telling you nobody's safe here. Everybody can die. The pregnant mom died.
Yeah.
The goat died.
Killed herself.
Yeah, killed herself. Like no one's off limits, and that also that helps. It's Game of Thrones style where I thought this was our hero that killed themselves.
Much like the next movie, I did not see that guy being the
lead.
No.
The last girl, the final girl.
Yeah, and the guy.
The Asian guy is the final girl. Yeah. We'll get to it next week. We're doing Witch
Trap.
Not Witch Board. Witch Trap.
Witch Trap.
See you next time, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Zlees. What the?